Brian Grimes, your real estate mentor, back with another action-packed session. If you're new to the channel, like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment that says I subscribed. For everyone who leaves that comment, I'm going to send you instant access to my free real estate training. It's going to show you how to acquire properties for pennies on the dollar all across the country. You don't want to miss out on that free offer. We have a lot to cover today. We're going to do a nice market update for you guys. I've pulled some good information that I really want you guys focused on as we head into deeper into Q1 of 2024. We still have a lot of year left, guys. This is an election year. There's going to be a lot coming at us. So you just want to make sure you stay locked in and stay focused. Make sure you get some deals going this year. We're going to talk about why. If you're interested in any of our programs, like the Boots on the Ground program, where we build houses for you, we find them, we connect you with the lenders, some that'll give you 100% of the capital to purchase and renovate properties for a living. We'll build them for you. We'll assist you with the tenanting, the tenant placement, and then we will manage them for you. If you're interested in that, click the links in the description. You can tap in and learn more about that. Book a call with me and my team. If you're interested in a one-on-one VIP mentorship program where I work with you one-on-one to help you to get deals no matter where you're at in the country. I say we have mentees in all 50 states, but we don't have anybody in Alaska. But that's it. We have somebody everywhere else. So we're working with you guys from all across the country. If you want to learn about that, click the links in the description and tap in there, and we'll get you guys plugged in. And what else do we have? We just did a ride along recently. I'm going to do another ride along because I was kind of blown away from the feedback that I got from the ride along. One thing that kind of hit me hard was one guy on the bus, as we were doing a ride along, he asked, like, how many of your fathers have owned a property before? And less than half of the bus raised their hands. And I didn't realize that we were that far behind, some of us, like that far behind in this game, and just not even having any generational wealth or people that have owned assets. So that kind of hit me hard. And I was like, man, I got to do more. I got to do more of these because we need, more than anything, exposure. We got to get exposed to this game. It's so important for not only us, and this should be a part of the mindset, but let's just shift straight into the mindset. If you're interested in a ride along, hit me up, because the next one I'm going to try to plan for March or April. I'm going to try to do more this year, which is pushing myself because I'm not getting less busy. I'm getting more busy these days. But if you want to, you're going to have to grab a ticket ASAP because they're going to sell out. The last one sold out. But into the mindset, you want to push yourself not for your first name, for your last. You really want to look at these opportunities. We're talking about 2024 and some of the opportunities that exist. You have to not only look at this from a personal standpoint, like, well, I want to make this money and I want to do X, Y, Z for myself and set myself up, and I'm tired of the 9 to 5 and all these things that they do motivate us, right? There's nothing wrong with hating your boss and wanting to get out of your 9 to 5, because that may be the motivation that you need to take the first steps to get started. But think about your family. Think about generations from now, people being on that bus and being able to raise their hand and say, my father or my grandfather or my mother, my grandmother, they owned real estate. And you serving as that inspiration for that next generation to just push it further. Even you having 1 or 2 properties or 3 properties may push the next generation to get 30 to 300. So a lot of us, while we're sitting there worried about ourselves, we're not thinking about the next generation who's watching us and seeing what we're doing and saying, I want to go do more of that. I want to be that. You are the inspiration. You are the light. You're the guiding light for your family tree, for your line. So you have to be that inspiration. My grandfather, he owned real estate. He owned a lot, and it means a lot to me. And it was part of it. As I got into this, it's like, yeah, this is what we do. My great grandmother owned real estate, right? So this is part of why it was a shock to me when I saw that, all those hands stayed down. I'm like, man, this is crazy. I didn't know that was a problem within the community at that level. But it also does make sense because of some of the things, redlining and all that stuff. We don't have to get into all of it, but if you know, and it's, to me, just a motivator to do more and not worry so much about your short-term success. Oh, is this one deal going to make XYZ cash flow or whatever? But worry about being the example, getting in, And long term, you're going to get the success, especially when you get your hands on the knowledge. There is no way to not be successful and have a master level of real estate knowledge. With a master level of real estate knowledge, you could lose all of your properties today and build them all back tomorrow. Like there would be no fear, essentially. And you can all get there. It's just a matter of putting in enough time to get there. Trust the process, believe in yourself, and bet on the long term. Don't worry about short term market fluctuations. Let's get into some mindset. Guys, if you have questions as we go through this, drop them in the chat section, drop them in the comment section. I will answer your questions as we go through. This isn't just about me rambling off. This is really, me being here to give you guys value week over week. The more value I give to you guys, the more motivated I am to do more. That's just kind of how I'm programmed. For the mindset, when you're investing in real estate, you want to focus on your lifestyle. A lot of us are like, Brian, where do I start? How do I know what strategy is for me? How do I know where to invest? A lot of that, and how do I know how many properties I should get? Or how should I scale up? It's all about lifestyle, guys. Focus on your lifestyle. If you don't mind working, and some of us are like, hey, even if I retired, I'd find something else to do. And I just want to work. I never want to not be moving and shaking and working. Then scaling up and getting a lot of properties is probably for you, because it's going to transition you out of working for somebody else to being your own boss, running an operation, and just staying like in the flow state. And you're going to make a lot of money. You're going to make millions of dollars in this real estate game, but you're going to have that daily activity. And if you're like me, like I'm in love with the activity of real estate. I love it. I wake up and I'm just like, who needs TV? Who needs a movie? Who needs anything? Who needs any entertainment? Who needs a vacation when you're tapped into this game and you're just doing what you love and helping other people to get tapped in as well? So this is like my action movie. This is my drama sitcom. This is everything. Real estate provides all that entertainment. But that's my lifestyle. That's what I like. If you don't like managing tenants or different things, you might go with different strategies because it fits your lifestyle better. So as you're building your lifestyle criteria, you can back your way into different strategies. But what you don't want to do is scale up a strategy that ultimately does not fit your lifestyle, because you're going to run into a brick wall long term. So when I'm helping people to guide themselves into the right strategy, I'm always focusing on this. Do you want to invest in town or out of town? Do you want to be hands-on or passive? How active do you want to be? Because there are some real estate strategies where you can make $10,000 a month per property, but it's more like a business, not straight passive income. Like there's no part of this that is passive. Are you down for that? Are you up for that challenge? Or do you like the idea of being on a beach somewhere or out of the country somewhere and you're still getting mailbox money? So you just want to think about that type of stuff and stay locked in there. We're already getting a couple of questions, so we'll get into that. But let me dive into this first, housing market predictions for 2024. There's a couple of sections that we'll dive into. It's probably going to lead to some more questions. Let me just shut this door real quick, and we'll keep flowing. So let me get into this, and then we'll jump into your questions. I don't know if I want to get all the way out of the screen. That'll be fine. And let me get this mindset out of our face. So the housing market predictions for 2024. Let's just jump in here. There's a couple sections that stood out to me here. The average 30-year fixed rate, I'll blow this up a little bit, fell to 6.6%, its lowest since May 2023. So I've been pounding the table for a while for you guys, like, hey, rates are going down, rates are going to fall. Just wait, just stay tapped in, stay locked in. Well, rates are falling. It's raining. Interest rates are falling. They're coming down, and they're projected to continue to tick down through this year. And that means a lot of things. It means that, buyers are going to come back. Sellers are going to come back onto the market. We're going to talk about at what thresholds that's going to happen. But this is why I tell you guys, always stay locked in. The market is ebbing and flowing. Sometimes your best battle test is surviving a bad market, is staying in the game or getting in the game when the market is like rough, like a 2023 year. Then when you get a good year like 2024, rates are going down, you're like, man, this is easy. I'm on autopilot. What happened? I thought this game would be a little bit rougher. You just got to stay in. You got to stay in. Let the market do what it does. Shift your strategies. Stay locked in, and you're going to hit that year. I was talking to somebody about this earlier, which is you're just honing your skills. You're playing the game. You're getting better, and then that perfect year appears. Rates are down for a year. Prices start ticking down, and there's a lot of inventory. And you go in and you do 20 deals, 30 deals in that year, and you pop up $1 million, or you pop up $500,000 or $250,000, whatever that number is, but you have a bunch of assets, and you only need 1 year like that. You don't need every year to be like that. You need 1 year to be big, and the only way you're going to hit that year is if you're in the game. The best way to get ready is to stay ready. So just make sure you guys stay locked in at that level. But rates are falling. Economists, this is good. Economists are also optimistic that the Federal Reserve is done with its rate hiking campaign to lower inflation after policymakers kept the federal funds rate unchanged for a third straight meeting on December 13th. The Fed funds rate is the benchmark interest rate, for those who don't know, that financial institutions charge each other for overnight loans. It tends to indirectly influence mortgage rates. So it is not the direct indicator of mortgage rates, but it does influence the entire market. So it's something that we need to pay attention to. Here's a question that a lot of people will have: when will the market recover? I'm not really seeing the market as being in a position where it's like bad or has been down. There's definitely been challenges. There's definitely been a supply shock, so a lack of inventory in the market, and that has influenced prices and bidding wars and different things artificially. But that's all going to transform. That's not going to stay the same. But I'm not viewing this as a market that has like collapsed somehow. You guys certainly aren't seeing that on prices. If you go on Redfin and look at pricing, or Zillow, prices haven't fallen, and they're not really going to. It's the news. I've been saying that for probably 2 years now. They're not really going to fall. They're going to stay flat and then continue to tick up for a variety of reasons that I'm about to talk about. But some interesting commentary. Gumbinger says for interest rates, and this is talking about how interest rates are going to cool off and how that's going to impact the market. We know as rates go down, people are going to re-enter the market. That pent-up buyer demand who is waiting for rates to fall, they're going to come back into the market as rates fall. So we want that to happen, but they're talking about the pace of that happening. It happening at all, it's going to happen, but the pace is more important than it happening. He says, don't hope that they cool too quickly. So rapidly falling rates could create a surge of demand that wipes away any inventory gains, causing housing prices to rebound. So what that means is if the interest rates fall too fast, if they just, let's say next month, they're down to 4%, everybody's jumping back into the market, which we don't want as investors who are staying locked in. Because when all those buyers jump back in, even though inventory will tick up a little bit as rates fall, once rates, they're projected to hit like 5% by the end of this year. Once they get there, it's going to unlock all of the sellers who are sitting on the sidelines and saying, well, I don't want to sell out of my 3% mortgage to get a 7% mortgage, but they'll sell out of the 3 to get the 5. They're just like, all right, they'll get the 5 and do a rate buy down into the 4s and just say, looks fine to me. We don't want that to happen too fast, especially us investors, because we want people to sit on the sidelines a little longer. I wouldn't mind if people sat on the sidelines until June, July, August, quite frankly, because it's just going to give us more time to load up on inventory. In the Boots on the Ground program, we put 5 deals under contract in the last 3 weeks of the year. 2 weeks of the year, the last 2 weeks of December and the first week of January, put like 5 deals under contract because the market's starting to reshift and balance out. There's way more inventory coming in, and the investors are still sitting on the sideline. Everybody's still afraid, not watching, not paying attention. So we don't want it to happen so fast that it ruins our opportunity. And then we're talking about kind of a return to the normal which would be the upper 4% and lower 5% range. Once again, once you get into this range of 4 to 5% 30-year fixed mortgages, you can now shift over to like a rate buy down strategy as well. So even if it's at 5%, you could pay a little bit extra in terms of a fee to buy down the rate from the fives into the fours. And that can be a smart play if you're going on a 30-year fix and you're trying to build cash flow. And I think once we get into that range, cash out refinances are coming back. The LTVs will probably go back up to 80% cash out refis across the board. And that means we're going to get into the territory that I would call the golden age type of window of real estate investing, which is where you can buy a rental property, rehab it, and then pull out like 30 grand cash, more than you put into the deal. Take that 30, put it in your pocket, and go do more deals. And for those who are kind of rocking with me, learning the strategy already, like right now, and continue to implement it, you're going to see a window of opportunity that is insane. It's literally going to be a question of how many deals can you do in a year? How many can you squeeze into a year? Because if you get a year like that and you touch 15 deals and you're pulling out 30K a deal, I mean, it's going to be hideous. And that money is, you're not paying taxes on that money, guys. You're not paying taxes on that money. Let me jump into a couple of questions, and then I'll keep flowing through some of this stuff. Here is a question: where are today's rates at? That's actually the next slide. So I'll just pop this up and kind of blow it up, and we can talk about it right here. So rates, these numbers were from today, from earlier today. From January 22nd. So the 30-year fixed came in today. It ticked up a little bit, but it's at 6.87% on the 30. You can see the 15. The FHA, if you're getting the 30-year FHA, 6.12, government backed. So a little bit more favorable. I'll blow that up even a little bit more for you guys. This is the FHA 30, 6.2%. You'll have your 5/1 ARM, which is pretty low. And these are all, here's the VA loan as well. There are a lot of veterans. Somebody just asked me about a VA in the question. I'll get to their question. Somebody asked me something about a VA. I think it was the same person. Here we go. I'm approved for a VA loan. So if you're approved for the VA, you're at like 6.1 already. And that number is going to continue to go down. And that's without the rate buy down. So you could probably buy your way into like the 5.75, 5.5%. Somebody I was talking to earlier today as well, because a lot of you are texting me, using that one-on-one VIP service, which is fine. I love it. Is looking at a rate because the seller is offering a concession, which we're also going to talk about today, a rate buy down concession where their rate is going to be like 5.25% on a deal, and they're picking up a turnkey multi in Texas. So yeah, the rates are getting right there, guys. They're right there to where I'm starting to get excited again about the opportunities for cash out refinances and where this market's going to go. I mean, there might be a year where I'm just like, you know what, I got to just go in and do another 100 deals this year because the market conditions may look good. And it's not, believe it or not, it's not something that I really want to do because I know how crazy things get when you're doing like 100 deals in a year. I mean, it's really a whirlwind, but there are going to be opportunities like that. So for you guys who are thinking about, hey, I want to scale up 10, 20 property portfolios, your opportunity is coming, but you better get locked in like right now. You better learn this stuff right now, because once that window opens up, if you don't know, you're going to miss it. It ain't going to stay open for longer than, I give it like a couple of years, 2-3 years. So you better learn it so that you can get in. Here goes another question. I want freedom. I bought my first property cash. I have not learned how to leverage that purchase. I need to know how to spot a good deal. Is this a good time to get into the game? Absolutely. This is arguably, to me, one of the best times in the last decade to get into the game. I feel like we're approaching the beginning of another cycle where the market is realizing that rates have to stay lower for longer, and they're going to again, and prices are going to stay balanced, relatively flat, not go up too high. And there's going to be a window of opportunity for us investors. What you need to learn is the finance game. And there's a lot of people like this. Some people who will call me are like contractors. I'll see this a lot with guys who are good with their hands. They call me Brian. I know how to build houses. I'm a roofer. I'm an electrician. I'm a plumber. I can, I've worked on all these commercial deals and I know everything and I know the contractor lingo. I don't know how to deal with the banks and how to line up the money and get the loans and run the numbers and find the most profitable deals. That's very easy for me to help you guys with. The easiest thing for me to do is to show you how to build the systems to scale yourself up and leverage the value that's out there. It's the most difficult thing to do is to take away the fear of construction. Only the one thing that I found that can remove that fear is the real estate ride along, which is why I think the ride along is so powerful and why I'm trying to do more and more of them to remove that fear from you guys of the construction by just taking you through a burnout building and showing you how to put it back together, taking you through single family properties that we're converting into multifamily properties and showing you what that process is like and letting you pick my brain for a day on site. So those are the two things. But yes, you need to learn how to analyze deals. If you join the VIP mentorship program, we have deal analysts on staff for all of our people. So we will analyze the deals for you and send you that information, and that can fast track you and show you kind of how these deals work. But you need kind of more of that work, and then you need to learn how to leverage your money better so that you're not pouring out capital. Because no matter who you are, you could take a guy starting off with $1 million and give me 50 to 100,000 and say, both of you go, and come back in 2 years later, I'll have more properties because I know how to do leverage. I know how to leverage OPM and more strategies. And that's what I'm teaching you guys is how to master all these different skill sets so that you can do more with less. So I can do more with less, whereas the million dollar guy is just going to take his money and start parking capital on deals. Eventually, he's going to run out of money. He's going to look at me and say, Brian, did you run out? I'm saying, no, I'm good. I'm good, bro. I'm cash out refi. I'm pumping up. Like I'm running this thing up. So that's definitely something that you guys want to stay locked into. Let me jump out and then I'll jump back in for more questions. Keep the questions flowing. Russ tapped into the ride along. I read this comment. He said the ride along is off the chains. It will immediately put so many things in perspective for you. It definitely locks it in. And I've had a lot of contractors, guys who've done, hey, I did 30, 40 deals and GCs come to the ride along. They're like, man, I got my wig pushed back, like at the ride along, which is fun for me because it's fun to really test, my decades worth and 300 plus deals worth of experience to test that against other GCs. And they even see like, man, this guy's going to another level with this thing because of the acumen on the financing piece, dealing with the lenders, the banks, the architects, the engineers, really having my hands on all these different pieces. But the ride along will transform you. I don't think there's any experience in real estate that will transform you quite like a ride along. So guys, like we've had people fly in from Hawaii, Canada, Texas, like all the way out on the West Coast, Washington, all the way down south, Florida, all the way up, the East Coast. Tap in, hop on a plane, come to Philly, 6th largest city in America, tap in with me live on site and get that experience so that you can take that and go turn that into money. You will turn that ride along experience into money. Louis said, what do you mean not paying taxes? What do you mean you can do this and not pay taxes? Well, when you buy a house, say I bought a house for 50 grand, put 50 into it, and then they're appraised for 200,000. I could go to the bank and say, hey, I have this property, it's worth 200,000. It's tenanted, it's cash flowing. I want to do a cash out refinance. And they'll say, we'll give you a loan for 150,000. It's worth 200. We'll give you a 75% loan for 150. So they give me the 150. I take the 100. I pay off the hard money lender who gave me the 50 to buy it and 50 to renovate it. So I pay off that 100,000. I take the 50,000, put it in my pocket. Now there's going to be friction out of that 50, closing costs, transfer taxes. I'm just keeping the numbers simple for us here. There are going to be, some fees. So maybe that 50 gets cut down to 35 for those who are like, that's not how it works. But that 35 is tax-free money. Why? Because it's part of a mortgage. It's a refinance of a mortgage. Because there's a payment that has to go back against that mortgage, that 35,000 is tax free. You don't pay taxes on that cash out refinance money. So if you start running this type of play, you could take every deal you touch. I'm trying to pull out 20,000, 15,000, 20, 25,000, and you can start doing that play over and over and over again. So you could start with 50 grand, do a deal, get your 50 back, pull out another 20. Now you got 70. Do another deal. Now you're 90. Do another deal. Now you're 110. And you have the 3 properties. So you're going to acquire properties and flip money up. It's called flipping to yourself. It's called flipping to yourself. Borrowed money don't pay taxes. That's what it is. So if you keep flipping properties to yourself instead of flipping them to other people, your tax situation is going to go crazy. This does not include cost segregation studies and bonus depreciation and all these other value adds from buying whole real estate. So even if you had W-2 income or your spouse had W-2 income, you could wipe out all of their income and get a tax return. So you could pop up $200,000 of cash, tax-free money, put it in your pocket, get $500,000 of losses that year, even though you had the $200,000 because it's not taxable. Get $500,000 of losses, wipe out your spouse's income, get $100,000 tax return. That's the game, and people are playing this game. But this is why I tell you guys you got to get in. See, you guys don't know all of the benefits of this game. You're not even in a proper position. Not all of you, but some, many. You're not in a proper position to really analyze the value of this game because you don't even know the tax game. You don't even know how the tax situation works. You're so worried about, this property's only cash flowing $400 a month. I want $700 a month. It's a bad deal. You don't understand the tax game. That property could cash flow 0 and get you $20,000 in tax losses that you could get back against your income. So this game is definitely a crazy game. And that's why you should get in, because the more you learn, the more you'll be like, man, I should have got in sooner. You're not going to learn more and be like, I'm glad I stayed on the sidelines. That's really never happened. He said, why is my loan officer telling me it's at 7.75% and lock it in? Loan officers will tell you a lot. I mean, these rates were published today. So some of these loan officers will tell you, whatever, they might have padding on there. It could be credit score related. I'm not sure. It could definitely have something to do with your credit score. But, that's all I'm telling you. That's all I can tell you on that one. One of my mentors, John Rosero, is one of my favorite mentors, dropping by with a question. Appreciate you. Hey, Brian, excellent discussion. Do you think hiring a property management company is worth it for multifamily buildings, especially if you don't want to deal with tenants? Property management is definitely worth it. In my opinion, it's one of the most uneven splits in business. Like, the property management split is like, I'm going to take 10% of the money of the gross income to do all of the work. Essentially, I'm going to pick up the phone when it rings, send out property maintenance people, renew all your licenses, do all the kind of bookkeeping and tracking of the income and outflow, and then send you something you can just send to your accountant at the end of the year. And they're doing all of that work for 10% while you keep 90. I think it's one of the most antiquated, uneven, unequal business models on the planet that we should all take advantage of, especially if you're focused on lifestyle. So it goes back to that. It goes back to that lifestyle thing to me. Lifestyle is everything. So if you want that lifestyle where you're not dealing with the tenants, you're not answering the phone, you're out traveling and doing your thing and spending time with the grandkids and all of that, put the property management in place. But caveat, manage the manager, still have them do quarterly inspections, send you videos, send you pictures, still create some type of basic system to manage the manager, because the property manager is managing 1,000 properties potentially. You don't really know. And they don't tell you, hey, here's our book of business. Here's how much we're managing. And here's where you fit in, or your assets. Here's how important they are to us. You could represent less than 1% of their portfolio of properties they're managing. So you might get less than 1% of care. And that is kind of on us as the owners. We have to have a system to hold the management company accountable for taking care of the asset at a high enough level. So that is where I've seen us go wrong, is assuming that the management company just has it under control, because that mailbox money, it's addicting. It's so addicting that the most beautiful part about mailbox money is not dealing with anything, not talking to anybody, and just getting the money, just getting the check in the mail, or just getting the direct deposit. So it leads you to be kind of out of sight, out of mind. Like, I don't even want to see it. I don't want to touch it. I don't talk to anybody. They got it. Just leave me alone. And you have to still have some type of a quarterly check-in process. Make sure you're watching them and managing the manager, because nobody's going to care more about your property or your money than you. And that's in any business. That's just how it is. But I would definitely do it, but still manage the manager. Managing the manager is the number one game. And hope that helps. Hope that helps. Hey, Brian, have you heard any news about increased bonus depreciation coming back? My cost said company said there is a legislative bill on the table. I'll tell you what, if the Republicans win this election, whoever that ends up being, it's going to come back. I can tell you that much. It's going to get refreshed, renewed. I would bet on it. I would bet on it. And once again, reasons why you should be in the game versus not in the game. Not that you have to be a Republican or a Democrat, but there are going to be certain bills that pass that are beneficial for real estate investors. The U.S. tax code is written for landowners and business owners. So being one or both of those is going to put you in a better tax position. I think there should be. I mean, if you drive around the country in some of these major cities, and you look at the state of the cities and the real estate, you need more developer incentives, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, a lot of our cities were built in 1920. They're falling down. These properties are literally over 100 years old now. And you got to incentivize the little guy to go in and do that work. Because the big guy, I mean, we're going to talk about, let's talk about it now. There's one of the big guys, Blackstone. They just bought, or they did another investment. They just bought up this company, Tricon Residential. Let me try to blow this up a little bit. They just bought Tricon Residential, $3.5 billion transaction. And what does Tricon do? Well, they primarily provide single-family rental housing and rental development units in the United States and Canada. After the acquisition, they're going to pour $1 billion into development, into that pipeline of U.S. single-family rental homes. $1 billion. So big money is buying, but even as they buy these single-family residences, they're doing it in certain pockets, in certain areas of the country. They can't really get into the inner cities. They're not getting into the C class, even the B class at times. So the only people who are going to go in are the little guys who know those markets, who can get boots on the ground directly and build those crews that specialize in those micro assets that need a certain amount of thought put into them. And that opportunity needs to be incentivized with some type of tax losses. Because like I said, I know about this stuff. Roland, you know about this stuff. We've talked about this stuff. Most people don't even know this stuff exists, even now. And we've done sessions on cost study segregation, but this stuff is huge. I mean, when you really learn how this tax game works, your whole perspective on the real estate game is just gonna shift. It's gonna get flipped, because you're gonna realize it's not just about cash flow and it's not just about flipping houses. It's really about taxes. And once you start saving on taxes, you're not gonna want to go back. You're not gonna want to go back to paying tons of taxes. But you are still paying taxes as a real estate investor. You're paying property taxes. You're paying lots of municipal bills and things that kind of serve similarly to taxes as well. So you're always going to be paying taxes, just not necessarily like earned income tax. You'll be paying property taxes and different things that other people aren't paying. So people might who are of a certain ideology might look at a real estate investor and say, "You're not paying taxes. I'm paying taxes. This is ridiculous." But they don't own 20, 30 properties that all have $5,000 annual property tax bills. So they're not paying $50,000 to $1,000 in taxes, or $100,000 in property taxes either. So they're on that high horse, but it's an uneducated high horse. It's an uneducated high horse. D said, I do home improvement and intend to do just what you just said, so I can work as a 1099 and follow your play. Um, Zero out my tax. Yeah, definitely run the play. The play works when you run the play. The play works when you work the play. Let's get into some more, guys. If you have any more questions, comments, commentary, just drop them in the chat section. If you're getting value, like, comment, subscribe. Leave a comment that says I subscribed. For everyone who leaves that comment, I'll send you instant access to one of my free real estate trainings. And click the links in the description to tap into free trainings. Reach out about the ride along, the boots on the ground, the one-on-one VIP mentorship program. Let's get into some more of this stuff, and we'll keep flowing. So interesting and good information to know. Renting a home is still more affordable than owning across the U.S. I really do think because of some of these statistics, even as we are, even as prices are going up, because it's still cheaper to rent, it's just part of the reason why we're going to become a renters nation. Because millennials and Gen Z and kind of all these generations, I mean, they're saddled with student loan debt, and they're just renting for longer and longer and longer and pushing back home ownership because it's still cheaper to rent than it is to own. Now, the interesting point, which we'll get into, is that rents have been inflating faster than housing prices. So the report shows that both renting and owning a 3-bedroom home continue to pose significant financial burdens for the average workers, consuming more than 1/3 of their wages in the vast majority of county level housing markets. But median rental rates still require a smaller portion of average wages than major home ownership expenses on 3-bedroom properties in 296 or 88% of the 338 U.S. Counties with enough data to analyze. So it's cheaper to rent than buy. More people are going to rent. If you're looking at that, you want to be a landlord, because at the rate things are going, and this kind of goes back to your family trajectory. If you don't start owning, making it a mission to own and pass down property as a form of wealth, your kids and their kids' are going to be permanent renters in America. It's going to happen in some generation. It's going to happen at this rate. So you really have to start thinking about all of this stuff. You just really have to think about it. O said, what about the decline in high-rise rentals killing bank loans? I mean, some of that stuff happens. There's always going to be micro sectors. I mean, there's been a decline. I'm not sure if you're talking about like the commercial space, but definitely the office space market got crushed. People don't want to work anymore or go to the office. So there's a lot. We talked about that on the ride along. But your commercial loans are typically written on 30-year amortization notes with a 10-year balloon payment. So it's really just a 10-year term on your average commercial loan for a big office building. So that means you have to refinance it every 10 years. And if that 10-year came last year in 2023, where rates just doubled or tripled almost in a year, well, then when you went to refi and your rents got crushed, you were just screwed. And the banks, lost a lot of money, and they're still dealing with that. So you're going to see a lot of, maybe we'll talk about that on the next market update. You're going to see a lot of legislation passing and a lot of new rules passing and incentivizing commercial buildings to be shifted or rezoned as residential, so you can build condos in those buildings so that they can remonetize those assets so the banks don't lose. It looks like John kind of got into that question. Is buying condos for rental income a good idea? It can be. It definitely can be. But you just have to watch out for kind of like those HOA type of fees, those fixed fees that even if you didn't have a mortgage, you're still paying the condo association XYZ money, because as we know that those fees don't go down, they just keep going up, and you hope that rents pace with them, but sometimes they don't. But condos, you can make a lot of money off of condos, and as long as you have the right profit spread and you're buying in the right market where there's going to be proper appreciation on those assets, it can be a good play. It's definitely not a bad play, and it depends on what mindset you're coming from. Look, there are people who are parking capital out there. So condos might be a good parking capital type of strategy. I do know a couple of people who had that focus of going and buying condos that needed renovation. They can be very cheap to renovate because they're smaller. And then if you're getting like quick 1 bed, 2 bed condos, you can always keep a tenant in there. So you can make a lot of money doing it. Um, it's just, I would say there can be less opportunity than some other strategies. But if you have more capital to play with, that's a great strategy to take. Hey, every 40K I stack up, I'm going to throw it at another condo, another condo. And then at the end of the day, you have a bunch of assets that you can truly passively manage because you do have that association fee and they are taking care of everything. So you're not really dealing with a lot of management or maintenance or issues. So it can be profitable. Mike Morgan, Mike, I got I'm gonna actually I'm gonna send. You asked me for a guy. Mike's working on a project. He needed some assistance. I'm gonna send your number to the contractor so that he can reach out to you about that drywall project you're working on. He's interested. He'll knock it out. It'll only take him a couple days, from what I saw. JB girl, how do the ride-alongs work? The ride-along, you'll come out to Philly. I'll usually do them on like a Saturday. We'll meet up at 7:30 in the morning. I'll have a party bus rented out, a whole tour laid out for us, and then we'll take a tour of the city. So I'll just tell you how the last one went on January 13th. We took a tour of the city. We saw 12 properties that I'm actively renovating right now, all across the city. We went to multiple locations all throughout the city. We show you the properties. We go in with the rehab budgets for the deals, the actual rehab numbers of the money we're putting into the project by line item. So you can see, here's what we're spending on flooring. Here's what we're spending on framing. Here's what we're doing for the roof. So it shows you the condition of the properties and then how much goes into them. And then we did it at various stages. So some properties were in shell condition. Some were still on the market but under contract, like we hadn't closed yet, but we I think out of two of the three that we saw, we just closed on 2 of those. So those are starting construction. Some were being drywalled and some were being finished, just like, hey, they're doing the final touch-ups and paint and we're out of here in 2 weeks. So you'll get to see the flow of how these projects are moving and where they're located, the philosophy behind it, but then also pick my brain all day and learn with other like-minded investors from across the country, build those relationships. Some of these people who are tapping in are contractors as well. So that could give you a contractor relationship in Ohio or somewhere across the country in a hot market that you want to invest in as well. So it's just a great experience to tap into, especially when you've never done a rehab project before, or you're just new to the game and you want to learn at a deeper level. A lot of us learn hands-on. A lot more of us than would care to admit, learn hands-on. So I can create, like I'm creating this mentorship program. I'm giving you guys all these different looks, like, hey, we're going to do one-on-one mentorship, one-on-one Zoom calls and text and email support. And I'm giving you all of that. Then we have, these mastermind calls. We're educating you. Then we have the course content you get lifetime access to. That's just taking you through the entire journey and showing you everything and how to scale. The ride along is another component of how you get educated, because for some people, they don't learn that well in the online classroom setting and they have questions. But what's fun about the ride along is you will be there with 15 other people. I keep the group small, try to keep them at like 15 or less, which is why they will sell out fast. But it allows us to really answer everybody's questions. I'm getting to spend time with everybody at a higher level. But you're going to learn a lot from other people's questions, because you could just sit there on the bus and somebody else is just riffing and I'm going back and forth with them and you're just like taking notes, recording it, whatever. So it gives you just another look, especially if you're a person. Some people don't even realize that actually, I guess I am kind of a visual hands-on learner until they get in that environment and then they leave it and they're like, oh, it all makes sense now. Everything just clicks into place. So it gives you that other wrinkle. But I try to make them all day. We spent from 7:30 in the morning to like 6 p.m. and we just rock all day. We stop for lunch, but we have food on the bus and everything. And we just rock all day. Some people will try to do a ride along and you get there and they show you like 2 houses because they're only working on 2 houses. And then they put you in like a a classroom type of setting, and you're just like in an event space essentially. I don't do any of that. I rock you the whole time. We're going to, you came out here to see houses. We're going to see houses. We're going to go hands on. If you want to do classroom, we have, we have the online classroom. We could do a Zoom call if you want to do that. But if you're coming out to Philly and making that trip, we're going to see houses all day. We're going to shop till you drop. And that's the best way to learn and get as much packed into one day as possible. So it's definitely there. Is flipping condos profitable? Yeah, it is. Though one of the guys that I knew who was doing the condo game, he was flipping them and just go in, buy them, put in 50K, pop them, and just making a lot of money just all day. They will sell, but you have to do the research to make sure that they're selling in this spot. So I think there's some research that goes into that. Doing that in touristy spots can be good as well, because you're going to have that travel market and people who want to buy them and Airbnb them and do different things. So you just want to make sure that there's a demand, and you can definitely get into that mini condo flipping type of space, which is a good business if you don't want to deal with tenants. When flipping from hard money to 30-year fixed, what is required? Check stubs, taxes. It depends, because even the 30-year fixed, remember, there's two types of lenders: qualified and non-qualified. So the qualified lender is dealing with like Freddie and Fannie, and they're going to need all that: check stubs, taxes. You got to be working, and they want a lot of stuff. And then you're going to get the non-qualified lenders, where they might be like, "Hey, we're no doc, no problem. As long as there's enough money coming in rent, we're going to do the deal, and we're just underwriting the deal. You can personally guarantee the loan." So there is a lender for everything, and half of the battle is finding the right lender. I've helped people with 550 credit scores get qualified for construction loans, or even less, like 500, get qualified, because some lenders will just underwrite the deals. So it's really, that's one thing I do with all my people who come in. Some people come in, God bless you, with great credit scores, and some of us come in with jacked up credit. One of the first things that I will do is kind of work with you on the credit type of thing, and say, okay, here's your profile, here's what lenders we need, here's why, and then try to lace you up with some lender relationships so that you can get the ball rolling. That's an important part, and that's one of the benefits of one-on-one mentorship, is just getting kind of laced up. So, when you're ready, we'll make sure you're laced up. But that is what you're looking at, and you can line up those two relationships before you even start the deal. You just line up your 30-year relationship, make sure you're good, get a pre-qual, and then you go on with your construction loan and do your deal. Cass said facts. Cass was on the ride along. Cass can speak on it. He was a little skeptical, reaching out. Some people are skeptical about me. They're like, who's this Brian guy? Is he real? Even though there's testimonies, all that stuff. But we got Cass laced up, got him at the ride along, let him see everything. And definitely, Cass is a New Yorker who's ready to rock and roll. And I think it's going to be extremely successful in this game. Just got to get him tapped in, get that first deal flowing, and then it's kind of up and running. Do you have to be part of the mentorship program in order to participate in the ride along? No, you don't. I have had people just tapped into the ride along. Actually, with the ride along, what I'll do is, if you're not in a mentorship program and you just tap into the ride along, you can use that as a upgrade. So the value of the ride along ticket, you can actually take that value and then apply it towards the VIP mentorship program or my boots on the ground program. So it's really an investment in your knowledge, but then it gives you a ticket that if you want to go further, you can actually count the value of the ride along experience and to just upgrade for whatever the difference is. So if the ride along was, hypothetical numbers, if the ride along was $500 and the VIP mentorship program was $800, then you could take your ride along, go on it, pay your $500 ticket, and then say, look, I want to go to the VIP. You would just pay the $300 difference, get right into the VIP mentorship program. So it gives you value that you can apply to enhance your level of mentorship if you want to take things to the next level. So it can be a good entry point. That being said, The VIP members are not like skeptics. Like they're in and they're like, I need that ride along. So they tend to get those tickets a lot faster, and it'll just sell out quickly. Literally, I had, for the people who were at the ride along, you guys know how packed the bus was. We had like 3 people cancel because of weather related cancellations, even though we got a beautiful day. It was like 50 degrees. So it would have been even more packed. So I try to keep them smaller because I think the value is in being able to spend time with everyone. That is the value. That's why I do one-on-one mentorship to begin with, because you get more value. But to me, it's just part of it. It's just part of the game. It's part of the game. I want to get a small group. I want to spend as much time with you as possible. I want you guys picking my brain. Most of the times people leave, they're just out of questions. And that's how I know I did my job. When you run out of questions, you're like, all right, I got to take action. It's over. So, yeah, you don't have to be a part of it, but the people who are a part of it tend to move faster, and they're like, yeah, let me get my ticket and let me rock and roll and make this thing happen, because they know this thing will sell out. Like, it's not a game, and I ain't just saying it. And I'm not going to bring 40 people out, because it's then a different experience. It's not that I can't bring 40 people out. I just don't want to. It's a different experience, and it's not what I'm trying to provide. It's not just some cash grab. This is really about educating people at a level where they can go out and change their family trajectory. Mike said the ride along was pure fire. If you like any of the pictures, Mike was the cameraman. He snapped a lot of pics on the Instagram, and you'll kind of see them floating around. He really appreciated that, Mike. D said, Brian, expect a call from me. We're gonna make this happen. Next ride along is gonna be in, I don't know if it's gonna be March or April, but it's gonna be right in that pocket. I'm gonna do a spring ride along. We might try to see 15 houses. Like I just keep trying to up it. If I can squeeze in 15, I'll squeeze it in. You guys know who did the last one. We saw 12 and it was getting dark. It was like, man, we out of time. But it'll be a little bit lighter for longer in the spring, so we can see more. I'll rock till I'll pull a 12-hour shift for you guys. I don't really care. I try to, when I carve out that time, I'm just there. I'm doing what I love, so it doesn't bother me one bit. What else do we have to talk about here? This I wanted to touch on. If you guys have more questions, drop them in the chat section. Drop them in the comment section. She said, all in one day. Yeah, all in one day. We rocked that ride along. We saw 12 houses in a day, and that's a lot. It's difficult to do that. By the way, most of the time it's difficult to see like 5 to 8. But I just had it mapped out perfectly, and we stopped for lunch. So you could see a lot of properties in a day. Here's one thing I promise you: if you see 12 houses with me in a day, you are going to 10x your education. You're going to be accelerated by a decade easily, because I built over 300 houses. So when we're walking through, you're like, what's that? That's this. What's that? That's this. Somebody asked me, we're in a burnout. Oh, this house is burnt out. Don't we have to remediate everything in it? Nope. This is what you have to do. You get rid of this. This solves that. Everything's smooth. And they're like, oh. But that's something that could hold you back. But once you start getting those answers, and you're like, oh, I can just power through these types of projects. Now that person who I showed that to, now when they walk into a burned out building, most people who can't analyze that deal, they can do it now. They have confidence to do it now. Therefore, they can get all those deals that everybody's afraid of, and then make money. Those are the deals where you can make 50 to 100,000 because everybody's afraid and they don't have the education. So so one day ride along. We tap in for a day. So you come out, people will fly in, usually like the night before, stay in a hotel, and then we will early that morning. I mean, we're on that bus 7:30, 8 a.m. and we're out. And I leave at 8 because we're on a tight schedule. So if you miss the bus, you got to Uber your way to the bus. But then once we're on that bus, we're kind of just vibing back and forth, teaching the game, and then we're in projects. Like every 15 minutes, we're in a new house, walking around, showing you the game. I took us from the nicest part into the deep hood. We went into the D class, into Zombie Land, which was good. And got to see some of those properties in the hood. Then we went to the A class, the B class. We saw everything. And that's, how we like to make it. But it's all packed in one day. So we'll do it on a Saturday. You don't have to take off from work. You don't have to make all these special plans. It's on a Saturday. get in. If you're in DC, drive in, hop on a train, get in. You can take the train straight to 30th Street Station in Philly, take a Uber, 10 minutes. We're right there in Center City where we meet. And come in, spend a day, boom, bounce out. If you're coming from LA, fly in, spend the night, enjoy the city, get a cheesesteak, get a Philly pretzel, fly home with your education. And then take that education, apply it. So it's just a lot of value. Lamont said, Brian, I just tuned in. Where do I go to sign up for the ride along? And what's the fee? Click the links in the description. You can book a call with me and my team and tap in. The ride along is the ride along is $2,000 for the ride along, but it will count for an upgrade. Like I said, you could watch this video back and you'll see it. And that's been advertised, the ride along. There's a bunch of videos on the YouTube channel that advertise the ride along and the cost and all the value and all that stuff. But yeah, you can tap in, click in, book a call with me and my team. We'll talk one-on-one about it, see if it's a good fit, and get you laced up, get you some course content as well. You get course content with the ride along ticket as well. So I don't just give you the ride along experience. We give you the ride along and then give you course content so that you're fully tapped in. So what you saw, you can now go back and see kind of in motion and action and how it's applied, but it just will remove all the fear. A lot of us can't accelerate because there's fear, and that fear is there for all of us. People laugh at me when I tell them what I was afraid of on my first deal. I was afraid I told them it's like the three pigs, like the big bad wolf and the three pigs. Like I thought somebody was just going to blow the house, like the house is just going to fall over, just blow over. It's an irrational fear. So, it is what it is. It is what it is. Let me see here. Can you make a video on restoring burnouts? I believe that will provide so much value. Yeah, definitely. I have a video in our VIP course content. We did a mastermind call, and I walked us through a burnout. Here's a burnout. Here's what we're looking at. And we broke down the costs. It's in the VIP mentorship program. I put all this information in for you guys. It's all in there. Like I promise you the course content that we give you access to, I've had people come from other programs, other courses, and they're like, Brian, this is like 10x what they had in the other course. This is crazy. Because I don't hold back any information. And we keep adding to it over and over again. I mean, look how many videos we have. I think we have over 60 of these 1 hour live videos just on YouTube alone. Just on YouTube alone. So imagine what's in the course content. If we have over a year's worth of these lives here that are dropping bombs, on you guys. But there's just so much information that I almost forget things about real estate, like until people ask me. You guys ask the right question and it just comes, firing back out, because I just know so much. I'm not only doing this, I'm a student of this every day, and it's all I do. And you guys know that. If you're not making anything in cash flow from a property, how do you still get cash back? You don't. So getting cash back is part of the deal analysis before you buy the property. So if my strategy is I want cash out refis, I ain't buying a property where I'm not going to get cash out. But I can do that analysis on the front end. If you don't know how to do that analysis, when you're tapped into the VIP mentorship program, our deal analyst will do it for you. And then when you see how our deal analyst did it for you, I've trained them, so they're just doing it the way I, do it. But once you see those numbers and how it's put together, you'll be able to then reverse engineer it, do it yourself. So sometimes just seeing somebody do it is the way. But that's how you will build a pipeline of self-sustaining deals, because you will just put a pipeline of deals in place where they all have the potential for cash out refinance. So then you might have 10, 15 deals where every deal you're working on at the end of that project, cash out refi, cash out refi, cash out refi, and you're stacking your money up. This is how you can replace your job with this thing in a year. Like if you get the hang of this, rates fall, you could actually just smoothly transition into this and just go straight into cash out refis replace your income, and build properties. But you need the market to be a participant in that. If the market is not providing that, then you might have to do small flips and kind of mix it together. 2023 was a rough year. I mean, it's probably, looking back on it from the data and everything, because you got to go through the year to be able to look back on it. It's a tough year, probably the toughest year in the last 15, 20 years in real estate, maybe since the 2008 crash. This is 2023 is the roughest year. 2024 is looking pretty good. 2025 might be looking even better. So if you get in now and start running and getting a couple deals under your belt, and you just hit that runway in 2025, they're like, rates are back to 4%. This is crazy. Oh my goodness. And then some of us are still going to be on the sidelines like, oh, is now a good time to buy? And you guys will be talking to them like, hey, you should have gotten it. But no, that's kind of that, guys. But yeah, if it don't work, if it doesn't cash out, it doesn't cash out. You can't make a deal something it's not. The deal is what it is, and once you get good at deal analysis, you'll know what it is on the way in. So if it ain't what you want, move on. Don't fall in love with the deal. Don't fall in love in the club. Don't fall in love in the club. Like, that's the rule with real estate. Don't fall in love in this club, bro. You come in here, if it's a good deal, cool. If it's not, pass. Move on. You have to have that mindset. Has it been possible to get 30 to 40K cash out refi surpluses in the last year? No, I haven't seen it. I mean, you're not really seeing that at 7% interest rates, 8% interest rates. You're not seeing those opportunities. In the very beginning of the year it was, but then rates doubled, and then it wasn't. Because last year you had a lot. Like, here's the real reason why you're going to see it. Last year rates doubled, and there's a lagging effect. It took time for rents to increase. Rents didn't increase until like October, November, to catch up with higher rates. Now that rents have increased, when rates go down, rents aren't just going to magically go down. They're going to stay high, which means there's going to be enough cash flow to support a cash out refinance mortgage. And then as rates go down, that mortgage payment is going to get lower, which means you could take more money out and still cash flow because the rents are high. So your spread is back. It's baked in and it's waiting to be unlocked. All you need is a interest rate that is in the fives, in the mid or low fives. You might even be able to do a rate buy down. There's going to be opportunities like this first for the educated. They're going to see the rate. It's going to be at 5.75. They're going to do a rate buy down to 4.85. Spend $4,000 on the rate buy down, but it's going to unlock a cash out refi because it's going to create a spread. Boom. Now you just pulled out 25K. You spent $4,000 on a rate buy down to unlock 25,000 on cash out. And it's going to happen there first with a rate buy down strategy. Then as rates fall a little bit deeper, it'll go a little bit more. So this stuff is definitely going to happen. This stuff is definitely going to happen. And some of us are going to miss it. It's so sad, but it's only right. It is what it is. Because if you're not wise enough to do your own research, you don't have to take what I'm saying as gospel, right? Do your own research. You're literally watching me do a video of research here, a live of research. Do your own research. Go read, and you will be able to formulate an independent opinion for yourself, and then go out and execute. But I am telling you that these market conditions exist, and when these things transpire, you see rates go down and these things happen, it's going to unlock value. And here's where the value is. That I won't say you can take as gospel, but you can definitely take it to the bank. You can run it to the bank because it'll work. It's just math at the end of the day. There's nothing special about it. The sauce is definitely in the construction and the deal analysis. That's something you can learn. If you don't know it, you just have to learn it. You have to get educated. And what is that education worth to you? I don't know. I know it's worth to me if I could learn how to do cash out refinances and acquire properties for the rest of my life and not be glued to a 9-to-5. I know what that's worth to me, but other people have to say what that's worth to them. Maybe it's worth $500, and if it's more than that, then they think it's a scam or something. Whatever. They have to deal with that mentality and see where it takes them. Do you have resources available in the Ohio market? Yes, I do. I'm in Toledo, and I'm very interested in joining. I just want to make. I do. I have a lot of resources. Contractors, which is the most important resource, right? Realtors, lenders, architects, engineers. You don't really need much more than that. You get that, you're pretty dangerous. And then we can do the deal analysis anywhere in the country. So you have a lot of support. I actually help a bunch of our mentees to get properties in Ohio from out of state. So we'll have people in like LA or down south where there are hurricanes and the insurance is really high, helping them to get deals in Ohio. I can count multiple mentees that we've helped to do that from out of town. So if you're already there, yeah, I mean, you just gotta go for it. It's a slam dunk. And reach out, click the links in the description and tap in. Guys, once again, if you're getting value, like, comment, subscribe. The more likes, the more, and also share this with somebody who you want to get value. The best way to get more value back is to give value. So even sharing this with a friend who you think could benefit from real estate, that's just gonna, the universe works in mysterious ways. It's gonna start sending more value to you, more knowledge to you, more opportunities to you. So share the content with somebody who you want to win as well. Don't be stingy and don't have a scarcity mindset. Scarcity mindset cuts you off from opportunity. Abundance mindset creates infinite opportunity. It allows you to see. So definitely share it. That's more important sometimes than liking, but also like and share and subscribe and drop a comment that says I subscribe. Do it all. And click the links in the description to tap into the free trainings. Do you have make your profit a line item in a cash out refinance? No, no. I don't put any kind of line item there, but I just, in my deal analysis, it shows me either how much money I'll have locked into the deal or how much I can get out of the deal by the end of the deal. So, he said 43 people here with 3 likes. Yeah, y'all got to get them likes up. Y'all got to get them likes up for sure. Definitely get them likes up. So no, I don't put it there as a cash out refinance, but I know it's there. Like I know what's in this deal for sure. What is a reliable website I can check for the latest market rates? Just I mean, this one I was on was pretty mortgagenewsdaily.com is very reputable. So I would just go to mortgagenewsdaily.com to check your daily rates. But you can just Google it, mortgage rates today, and you'll find it. But yeah, that's what I would do is just go right here and you'll be able to find it. The one thing, man, you guys tell me, should I get into this 46 property portfolio? There's 100, I dropped a video that said there's 104 property portfolio that hit the market. And I brought some of that to this call. We're already at an hour and 10 minutes almost. I don't know if we'll get into it today. I might have to do it next time. One thing that unless you guys really want to see it, one thing that I wanted to touch on was buyer and seller incentives. So one of the top incentives for 2024, this is if you're a seller, you're thinking about this, if you're house flipping, is offering some incentives to the buyers. One incentive that you can offer is a home warranty. It's not that expensive. Maybe it's $1,000. But there are companies out there that will provide home warranties for different durations of time. And it builds confidence in the buyer, especially when they're purchasing a rehab. So giving them access to this type of incentive, apparently in like 2022, 2023, over, I believe, 60% of sellers offered incentives on their deals, according to some, I guess, stories told by realtors at Redfin. But take it for what it's worth. This will help your property to sell faster. It's very cheap. It's something that can be an easy incentive. There's also sellers assists and sellers credits, and there's different types of incentives that you can provide. Some developers, some home builders, they will provide things like rate buy down assistance. So I have somebody who's purchasing a turnkey right now. The seller, because they're a home builder, they built like a whole condominium. They are offering, hey, we're going to credit $5,000 to your closing in the form of a rate buy down. So they're going to send the lender. They have a partnership with the lender. where they're going to pay the lender 5,000 out of the sales price, and the lender's going to use that to buy down the rate for the buyer. So this is allowing the buyer to get cheaper money to qualify for the loan, essentially, and have a lower rate for the lifeline of the property. So offering different incentives can be very important on the sales side because other sellers are doing it. So if you want a property to move a little bit faster, you can offer incentives. If you are tenanting a property and you want it to move a little bit faster as well, you can offer incentives. You can offer a flat, hey, we'll get you a $500 flat screen. Flat screen, 48 inch, costs like $200. You can throw that in. Hey, we'll get you a flat screen. You move in. Whoever moves in to this property, first come, first serve, but you get a flat screen, get a $500 Visa gift card. They'll tenant faster. You don't want to overuse that because you don't want to incentivize the wrong person, somebody without the capital to really do it anyway. If you're flipping, though, you don't care. You ain't managing them. So you just want to get the deal sold. So it could make a lot of sense. So keep that in mind for you house flippers out there, that incentives can make a lot of sense. So make sure you're, offering them where and when necessary. Would a hard money lender that gives 100% of the purchase price in rehab lend to you on a large portfolio deal? Yes. But there's got to be a relationship there, which is another reason why you should get started. You have to get in. They're not going to do it like you just waltz in to the game with no deals under your belt, no pre-existing relationship. And you're like, hey, I want to do 60 deals at once. They're going to laugh you out of the bank. But if you've done 10 deals with them, or even you've done 2 deals with them or 1 deal with them, you say, hey, I want to do 3 this time. They're like, all right, cool. We'll do 3 at once. And then you do those 3 at once. And you're like, I want to do 15. And they're like, they think about it. And then they look at the amount of money they're going to make off the deal, and they probably will do it. So you have to get in. It's part of the reason why I say don't sit on the sidelines, because then when these deals come up, like these package portfolio deals, you're going to miss them because you don't have the relationships. And that can be problematic. I'll get into it quickly, and then we'll put a bow on this session. So this is one of these larger portfolios. This is this group called Workforce Housing. They put out this portfolio, 61 units, 57 residential, and 4 duplexes. And these things have just hit the market. People, I think people think I'm just capping on on some of the videos I drop. But it's not. This is just part of their portfolio. They have another package of like 30 properties and then another package of like 13. But they'll drop these packages on. You guys should be able to see some of this. They're already pre-tenanted. So you'll have the information to see the total rents. Some of these are Section 8. So you'll see if they're Section 8'd or not. The lease expiration dates, the deposits they're holding, what the tenant pays, what the government pays. The sales price. All of these properties are selling below market. So if you have the ability to run in and grab, I'm just blowing that up, some of these properties, or grab 5-10 properties, you could carve out 10 out of this list of 60 and say, hey, I want to grab these 10 at $90K a pop. These properties are all worth at least 160, 170. Now, what you don't know is the condition of them. You'd have to get in and do your research on the condition. But this is a portfolio. This is why, quite frankly, I'm not that pressed on the volume of deals that I do at any given time. If I want to go do 100 deals, I'll just go grab 100 property portfolio. I'll go raise money and do whatever needs, call lenders, raise some money, and I'll just grab 100 cribs. It's not really that serious to me. To me, it's more about grabbing the best deals available. And sometimes I will look at why wouldn't I buy this portfolio? For me, because I have a construction crew, I have a development crew, and this isn't so big in terms of development. This is more turnkey. So you can acquire these properties and manage them and unlock a lot of cash flow. I mean, this will put you at 20 grand a month, like right away for most people. I'll put the links in the description to all these websites, including this deal, this package. But I like to get deals that are vacant because I can then send in my crews and keep the work, keep the guys busy. I'm doing this for a variety of reasons. There's a lot of method to my madness. So this is not as attractive to me, but it doesn't mean on any given Sunday that I'm not like, rates are low, rates are 4%, 5%. Like if rates get back in the fours, I might just go raise some money and, hey, let's lock this up while it's 4. Rates go back up to 8%. We'll unload it. And it's a great strategy. And you're going to make a lot of money. So just know that these things are out here. These things come across my desk, I would say two to three times a year. Every year, there's 100 property portfolio being unloaded since I've been in this game. So it's out there, guys. Everything is out there for the taking. This is not cap. This is real. And the only thing you're missing is knowledge and relationships and systems. I didn't invent real estate. I didn't invent these strategies. They existed before I got here. They're going to be here when I'm gone. Probably somebody will be watching this freaking channel 100 years from now, maybe absorbing some of this knowledge. But if you tap into the systems and knowledge, you can get the same results. There's nothing special about anybody who's doing real estate other than they learned it and they're applying it. That's what makes them special, and makes maybe you not special yet because you're not learning it at a rapid enough rate and or applying it yet because you have hurdles or mental blocks or whatever. Maybe the timing's not right. Sometimes the timing is just not right, and I can respect that. But oftentimes there are just mental blockers and hurdles that are holding you back, and fear that's holding you back. On the other side of that fear and on the other side of knowledge is power of how to create capital and financial freedom for yourself and your family, which is why you need to, stay locked in and tapped in. If you don't know how to get started, tap into mentorship. More people are afraid of getting burned by mentorship than by contractors these days. It's like crazy. Like, oh, I can't do that. I just want to put my money straight into a deal. Then they get burned for 40 grand by a GC, like I did, quite frankly. I did. I've gone through that. I've done that, so you don't have to do that. So you don't have to go through that pain. But you got to learn, man. You're going to learn in this game one way or the other. You're either going to take the smart road and tap into the knowledge and mentorship, and then you just have to find the right person, the right fit. Or you're going to learn from the school of hard knocks. You're going to get burned by some contractors. You're going to get screwed over. You're going to burn through a couple $100,000 if you're lucky to figure out a fraction of this. The only way to figure out everything I know outside of the mentorship program is to burn through a couple million. If you got a couple million to burn, God bless you. I can think of a lot more fun ways of burning it, though, than just getting ripped off by contractors and lenders and unscrupulous people within this game. So, if you're going to get in, tap into mentorship, tap into the ride along. Ride along is a good entry point. And just stay locked in. This is going to be a good year. Watch this again because there's a lot of information in this thing. We've gone on a bunch of different topics, so it'll give you different ideas even if you watch it again. But the wave is coming. The window of opportunity is coming. Rates are falling, and you better wake up. If you're sitting there, you sleep, you better wake up, or you're going to be the reason why generations from now are permanent renters. I mean, that's the wake up call. You're going to be the reason. They're going to be on that bus 100 years from now, and some guys going to be like, "Did your grandfather own a property? Did your grandma?" And they'll be like, "Nope," and therefore I don't own nothing. And to get into that game, the properties you could buy for $50,000 right now be going for $500,000. The property's going for $500,000 right now, be going for $5 million. The starter home, single family, 3-bed, 1-bath, be going for 1.25 in the hood. They're not going to have an opportunity like you have. Emily said, when's the next ride along? It's going to be March, April. Do the next ride along. So guys, hope this helped. Click the links in the description. Like, comment, subscribe. Share the content with somebody that you want to help. If you want to get a hold of me, click the links in the description. Book a call with me and my team. If you want to get in on the next ride along, you better get your ticket soon. I'm already promoting it for March, April. Once it sells out, it's out. And then you got to catch the next one whenever that is. I don't know when that is. Don't ask me when the next one after the next one. I don't know. But the next one is going to be powerful. So definitely stay locked in. Brian Grimes, your real estate mentor. I'll see you on the next one.